Hello, welcome back everyone for our research methods for economics. Today we are continuing our lessons. In the previous, we have seen a definition of the research under video 1. This is a video 2. As we said, people are trying to understand their environment to know or to have more knowledge through conducting a research. So, a research is human's activity based on intellectual application and investigation of the matters. This is to improve their way of life. Through research, they can improve their life or way of life. Scientific research is a systematic process of collecting and analyzing information to increase our understanding what we want to know or to get new things or to create new knowledge or to expand the existing knowledges. If someone conduct a research, his objective is maybe for expanding the existing knowledge, which is very narrow, or to get new knowledges that already not found, and the like. The aim of conducting a research is those objectives. And also, conducting a research is to solve a problem. The problem may be theoretical problem or maybe immediate problem, such as, for example, COVID-19. During that time, the researcher were trying to solve the immediate problem or a practical problem. The researcher is conducting a research to solve such problem. For example, when we say theoretical problem, what theory said and what's practical observed may be different. For that, we need to conduct a research. Let me take example. Let us take example. A theory that says in economics there is a complementary goods that can we use together. That means, for example, if we have car, we have to have also gasoline or the oil gas. For this, the theory says that if the price of oil increase, the demand for car decrease because they consume together. In theory, such is already stated, but in practical, in different countries, example, in our country, in our continent, in Africa, in America, in Europeans, and other different countries, this theory is not working perfectly because of different cases. That case should be solved through a research. This is the way we solve a theoretical problem. Because, for example, if price of the oil gas increase, the demand for car should be decreased. But in opposite, the demand for car is increased even though the price of the oil gas increase. This is the problem of the theory. And there is also another theoretical problem what theory said and what practically appear is different. To solve this difference, we have to apply, or we have to conduct a research to solve that theoretical problem. As we said, there is also the immediate problem. That immediate problem is, for example, during COVID-19, many scientists, many researchers are busy to, or try to solve the problem, or try to get a medical for that COVID-19. At that time, they have solved the problem. Today, we will see the left one. We start from types of explanation or types of reasoning in scientific research. In research, we often refer to the two broad methods of reasoning to generate theories or prove or disprove the theories. These are inductive and deductive reasoning. We explain in the form of deductive reasoning, or we can explain in the form of inductive. What is deductive reasoning means, or deductive explanation in research, or any scientist, in any science, there is such reasoning. Deductive reasoning, it is explanations of results from general to specific. We start from the general and we go for specific. Let us see the example. All mammals have a lungs. This is general one. And a dolphin is a mammal. Therefore, a dolphin has lungs. So we start from the general mammals and we go for a specific dolphin. Other example, all fruits have seeds. This is general. All fruits have seeds. This is general one. Apple is fruit. This is specific. Therefore, an apple has a seeds. We start from the general fruits and we go for specific explanation, that is, apple has seeds. The other, all businessmen are conservative. John is a businessman. John is a businessman. Therefore, he must be conservative. We start from the total businessman as they are conservative. And we take example, that is John. He is a businessman, so he must be a conservative. We start from general to the specific one. For example, let we take very ordinary example. That ordinary examples, we can explain about Africa as a general, and we go to Ethiopia as specific. So that is from general to specific explanation. This is very enough example for you. The other is inductive reasoning or explanation. This is from specific to general. We start from specific and then we infer for the other. This is simply when we take sample in research. Mostly we take sample, representative sample. Then we conduct our research or analysis on that sample and infer that sample for the population. This is from very specific to a general. Or, for example, in scientific ways, also we test a medicine, the new medicine, on mouse, and then we give that medicine for human beings. for total population. If that is very effective for mouse, it is effective for other human beings. This is how we can test our medicine. This is from specific to a general way. What is we test on mouse? Both human beings and the mouse are homothermic animals, and then our breed reflect our response in the same way. That is why we make as such. Or in agriculture, we test our new crop as a pilot test on a specific soil kind in around researching areas or around the research institute, and then we can distribute for the farmers. This is from specific to a general. So it is from specific to general. Then we take the example for inductive reasoning. The sun has risen in the east every morning. I can remember this. Everyone knows it. Today, the sun rose in the east. The sun always rises in the east. This is a general one. We start from specific, then we come to a general. This is very ordinary example to make it clear. Other example, every crow I have ever seen is black. Every crow, or kinds of crows that you see around your environment, around your continent, around your country, it is black. I have seen hundreds of crows in different places, and all are black. Therefore, all crows are black. This is specifically, I take, and then I go to the general crows. Then we take another very ordinary example, very clear example. Every morning for the past week, the school bus arrived at 7:30 a.m. anti-meridian. Today, the bus also arrived at 7:30 a.m. or 7:30. Therefore, the school bus always arrived at 7:30 a.m. This is general conclusion from specific to general. I hope you clear with this reasoning style. Then we use it for our research too. The next issue on this research methodology is the objective of a research. The main issues that we conduct a research is depending on our objective. The purpose of research is to discover uncertification through the application of scientific procedure. It should be through a scientific procedure, not in ordinary ways. If we go in ordinary ways, it is no research. As we said under video 1, which one is research, which one is no research, we have discussed about these issues. Simply transforming of the information in different ways is not research, we have said. Rather, it is history. If it is give information, it is not called as a research. The main aim of the research is to find out the truth or facts which is hidden and which has not been discovered yet. We have said before, research is the movement from known to unknown. This is from hidden or from uncovered to covered. Our aim is to dig out the hidden or covered events. Research plays a major role in applying a truly analytical approach to decision making. Besides, it also assists in the evaluation of effect of decisions which have been taken. In general, social scientists believe that the ultimate aim of the research must be social benefits. What we are conducting, or what's you have done, what we have done should result in some social benefit. Otherwise, no need to conduct a research if there is no solution or if there is no the benefit of that research. It must solve the society's problem, as we said before. The problem may be a theoretical problem, maybe a practical problem, or immediate problem. So our research should solve this problem. The other, through each research, the study has its own specific purpose. The following are 5 principal objectives of all social science researches. The first one is research is conducted to help scientists understand the property of a phenomena, property of things, or behavior of phenomena or behavior of things. The process enables the scientists to establish categories after identifying the property or behavior of things or phenomena. Then we use, or scientists establish categories, class or types of the phenomena. The class, the types of the phenomena or categories we have seen, and also we see on the world is established or flourished because of a research, or it is the result of the research as a whole. In economics research example, the following are set of categories: high income and the low income category. This is the result of research. Saver and the non-saver category, productive, non-productive category, investor and the non-investor category, employed and the unemployed category. All of this is the result of a researcher or the result of a research. Research is conducted to enable the scientists to understand the relationship between variables. This is the cost to present conclusive evidence, causal links that relationship exists between two or more phenomena. This is to understand relationships of things, relationships of the variables, that is independent and the dependent variable. That is why the relationship between price and the demand is identified and also explained. This is through research that we have such a relationship before. The third one is production of the theory. It is the third objective, and it is considered to be the ultimate goal of all scientific research. The other objective is production of the theory or establishing of the theory. We know different theories, different scientific theories. In economics, there is a demand and the supply theories, or demand law and the supplies, the law of supply and the law of demand. This is the objective of research. The fourth principal aim of the research is prediction of the outcome. This is also the objective of research. We can predict based on the previous, based on the present, we can predict what's happening in the future. This is also the research objective. Prediction is based upon through understanding of pair theory generation. Depending on the previous, we can predict the future. For example, when we conduct research on time series, we analyze, trend analyze, and then we predict in the future based on the current data and the previous data, and we will expect what happens in the future. For example, the determination of the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with something else. This is the fourth principle example. The final aim of the scientific research is the confirmation of the findings in one study by other research replication. So this confirmation also is a part of the objective of researcher. That means it is conducted to confirm or refute the study or body of knowledge by community of other researchers. This is also our objective. The other types or classification of the research is research can be classified from three angles or three perspectives or three sides. Perspective number one or angle number one, the application of research studies. Depending on the application of the research, we can classify it into applied research and pure research. And also based on objective in undertaking the research, based on the objective of the research, we can categorize in the research into descriptive, correlation, explanatory, exploratory research. This is based on our objective of undertaking our researches or conducting of a research. The other inquiry mode employed, that is quantitative and the qualitative research approach. Let us see each of them separately. The three classifications are not mutually exclusive. That means they are not independent of each other, rather they are depending on each other. We can use all together, both together, or then that means a research study classified from the viewpoint of application can also be classified from the perspective of objectives and the inquiry mode employed. We cannot make it mutually exclusive, rather it is inclusive. For example, a research project may be classified as pure or applied research from the perspective of application, as descriptive, correlational, explanatory, or exploratory from the perspective of objectives, and as quantitative or qualitative from the perspective of the inquiry mode employed. Let us see each. Let's see application of research studies. The first one is applied research or action research. These types of research, which is aimed at finding a solution for an immediate problem facing a society or industrial or business organization. Action research is a research that we need for immediate problem, for solution. For example, during COVID-19, the research that applied is action research because it needs a solution at that time, not for theory development, not for other things. Rather, it is for solving of the problem. The research worker must solve a short-term problem faced by society. So that's already solved. And now there is no COVID-19. Research to identify social, economic, or political trends that may affect particular institution or marketing research or evaluation research are examples of applied research. Applied research needs action plan. It should be applied at that time. The finding of applied research should be applied practically. It needs solution. It is applied for solving the immediate problem. So the central aim of the applied research is to discover a solution for some pressing practical problems such as COVID-19. The other is pure research, or we call it basic research, or we call it theoretical research or fundamental research. This is a research that helps us to develop a theory. What kind of theory, for example? Price theory, demand theory, supply theory, and the like in economics. And there is also another theory. So those theories were developed by using this pure or fundamental research type. It is academic in nature, and the findings may or may not be used in the very near or immediate future, but it is used in the future. It also development of procedures used for developing steps or procedures or principles for the advancement of knowledge that have long-run implication, like in economics and the finance. This is how theory is developed, or a research that is used for development or developing of the theory. Fundamental research is mainly concerned with generalization and with the formulation of the theory. It is generalization. After you establish the theory, you can say this theory is working for other also. Gathering knowledge for knowledge's sake is termed a pure or basic research. A research concerning some natural phenomena or relating to pure mathematics are examples of fundamental research. Many theory developed through pure research. Hello, welcome back everyone for our research methods for economics. Today we are continuing our lessons. In the previous, we have seen a definition of the research under video 1. This is a video 2. As we said, the second objective in undertaking a research is descriptive research. It is a type of research which tries to describe systematically a situation or a problem or a phenomena or service or a program. We describe as it is systematically a problem, a situation, what has happened, what is this phenomena or a service or a program. Or it may provide information about, say, the living condition of community or describing attitude toward an issues. Simply, we can describe the living condition of the community, such as communities that live as hunter in forest. We can describe by using descriptive research, or transhumance community, or we describe the attitude toward some issues, attitude toward war, for example, attitude of the society toward war, attitude of a society toward a religion, and the like. For example, it may try to describe or attempt to describe types of service provided by an organization. We can describe types of service, administrative structure of organization, the needs of the community. We can describe by using descriptive research. What it means to go through the divorce. We can describe how a child feels living in house with domestic violence, or the attitude of employees toward the management system. This is how we can describe by using descriptive research. In short, the main purpose of Such study is to describe what is prevalent with respect to the issues or problem under the study. The second one is correlational research. As we see from its title, it shows a relationship. It is a type of research that is done to establish or investigate the existing of relationship between two or more variables, aspects of the situation. For example, what is the correlation or a relation between student performance and the effect of technology, or the effect of TikTok on students' performance, the effect of long-term study of the student on their performance, or the effect of inflation on living standard of the society, or the effect of environmental pollution on the health of a society, and the like is explained through correlation research. For instance, what is the impact of advertising campaign on the sale of products? So under this, we have two variables, as we know in relationship or in correlation. There is independent and a dependent variable, or maybe when there is also sometimes when one can affect the other, and also other also affects the opposite one, that is by correlation. The impact of advertisements movement on the sale of the products, we can take one as an independent variable and the other is dependent variable. So advertisements or advertising is independent variable, and the sale of the product is dependent variable. And then if the advertising campaign is increased, the sale of the product may increase or decrease. Most of the time, it is a related positive relationship they have, or the direct relationship they have. If advertisements increase, the sale of the product increase. That's why company need advertisements on different media, such as on television, the radio, and so on. Then we can conduct our research under correlation research. What is the relationship between stressful living and the incidency of heart attack? If you all the time stressful, the heart attack is increased. That is positive relationship. Sometimes all the time, such is already explained by different researchers. What is the relationship between fertility and the mortality rate? This is also, they have positive or negative relationship, that depending on the outcome all the time it is positive relationship. What is the relationship between technology and the unemployment? This is the current issues. If technology increase, unemployment rate increase or decrease. This is the issue of the current time. For example, if robots is come to company and work in behalf of an individual, unemployment rate is increase. This is known. This is already known, inevitable. So this relationship also has a negative relationship, or a positive relationship of technology increase, unemployment rate also increases. Is how we can conduct correlation research or do researches by using correlation. What is the effect of the home environment on educational achievements? This also have a relationship. This is how we can conduct our research by using of correlation research. The third one is explanatory research. Explanatory research. Here is a research goes beyond the descriptive character to analyze and explain why or how it is happening. Um, the third one is explanatory research. Here, here the researcher goes beyond describing the character to analyze and explain why or how it is happening, rather than simply describing as before under descriptive research. This needs to analyze more deeply than before. We ask why or how it is happening in the like. So, explanatory research aims to understand phenomena by discovering and measuring causal relationship among them. Explanatory research try to clarify why and how there is a relationship between two aspects of situation or phenomena. These types of the research try to explain, for example, why stressful living results in heart attack. Why? Ask such things. That is because it is explanatory research. Why decline in mortality is followed by fertility declining? Why they have a direct relationship, and how the home environment affect children's levels of academic achievements, how it affects, and why it do that. This is uh, also answered under explanatory research. The fourth one is exploratory research. This study is undertaken with the objective of exploring an area where a little is known or no prior studies are conducted to the problem which we are referring to. So the little is known or totally there is, if there is no any information, we use exploratory research. Inquiry mode employed. In the third perspective, we have two research approach, that is qualitative research approach and the quantitative research approach. What is quantitative research approach? From its name, we understand that is quantity. We can explain things in terms of numbers. That is why we call it as quantitative. And also the other behavior of quantitative research is it is very structured one. It is not unstructured. These types of the research that is done if we are interested to quantify the extent or magnitude of the problem, we have to use quantitative research or a situation or issues or phenomena. Under quantitative research, we have to explain these issues in terms of numbers. We can say that is 50% or 20%, 80%, 100%, 99%, and so on. We can explain in terms of the quantity, in terms of a number. That's why we call as quantitative research. And also it is very structured one, as we said. It is applicable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quantity. In the structured approach, everything that forms the research process, objective, design, sample, and the questions that you plan to ask of respondents is predetermined. So once you determine the sample, once you determine the question, once you design design your research, once you design or identify your objective, you cannot change after starting your research. That's why all the time for quantitative research you have to take care. It is not possible to change your sample or your companies or and the like. The unstructured approach, by contrast, allows flexibility in all these aspects of the process. It is qualitative research that is unstructured. You can adjust whenever you get information. You can change whenever you get the information. This is why it is unstructured. Let me see the second one. We start from types of explanation or types of reasoning in scientific research. In research, we often refer to the two broad methods of reasoning to generate theories or prove or disprove the theories. These are inductive and deductive reasoning. We explain in the form of deductive reasoning, or we can explain in the form of inductive. What is deductive reasoning means, or deductive explanation in research or any scientist? In any science, there is such reasoning. Deductive reasoning, it is explanations of results from general to specific. We start from the general and we go for specific. Let us see the example. All mammals have a lungs. This is general one. And a dolphin is a mammal. Therefore, a dolphin has lungs. So we start from the general mammals and we go for a specific dolphin. Other example, all fruits have seeds. This is general. All fruits have seeds. This is general one. Apple is fruit. This is specific. Therefore, the qualitative research is especially important in behavioral science, where the aim is to discover the underlying motive of human behavior. To study the behavior of individual, you cannot explain in terms of quantity, rather you can explain qualitatively. You can explain qualitatively, you cannot measure the behavior of an individual that you can say bad behavior or other behavior. You can explain in terms of quality, good, bad, or the like that. Through such a research, we can analyze various factors which motivate people to behave in particular manner, or which make people like or dislike a particular things. You can say that is like or dislike or bad or good, and the like. Note that both approach have their place in research. Both have their strengths and a weakness. As you know, both have weakness in the strengths, or their strengths and the weaknesses identified under different research approach or under different research methodology, different books. If that is important, we will discuss these issues. Therefore, you should not lock yourself into slowly quantitative or qualitative research. The choice of a structured or unstructured approach and of the quantitative or qualitative method of inquiry should depend on aim of your inquiry, describing, quantification, or use of the findings, policy formulation, or process understanding. The study, for instance, is classified as qualitative if the purpose of the study is primarily to describe a situation, phenomena, problem, or event. The information is gathered through the use of variables measured on nominal or ordinal scale or qualitative measures scales. If your objective is this one, or primarily if your purpose is this one, you use that qualitative research approach. And if analysis is done to establish a variation in situation, phenomena, or problem without quantifying it, without explaining in terms of value, in terms of number, you can use qualitative research approach. On the other hand, the study is classified as quantitative study if you want to quantify a variation in phenomena, situation, or problem or issues, if information is gathered using predominantly quantitative variables in number, if analysis is geared to ascertain the magnitude of the variation, example, how many people have particular problem, you can explain in terms of number, for example, 10, 900, 500, 1000, and so on. How many people hold a particular attitude? This is also the quantitative. It needs quantity. So for this, you can identify which one is quantitative, which one is qualitative by depending on your objective, depending on what you need depending on what company needs and so on. I thank you very much for your attention and also for your comments. Yeah, that you will do. If you liked my work, don't forget to like, share in the comments. If you wanted to inform me individually or personally, my email is, as you see, balayele@yahoo.com. I thank you very much, all of you, everyone.